Hi there, it's Ed. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. This one's going to be a little different than the last few you've seen. This is going to be an unboxing because I was very happy the other day. In the mail, I received my Old School Essentials basic set. Yes, I backed the Kickstarter for this quite a while ago, and because of supply chain issues and worldwide pandemic and a few things like that, it took a while to get the physical books. But I did receive it just a few days ago, so I want to unbox this and show you what is inside. If you're not familiar, Old School Essentials is, I think they call it a restatement of Basic and Expert Dungeons & Dragons. The old box sets that had the beautiful Errol Otis artwork on it. It is not a new game. A lot of the Old School Renaissance or Old School Revival, depending on what you think OSR stands for, are a reimagining of the original rules of Dungeons & Dragons, or a reinterpretation. That's not what OSE is. Old School Essentials is supposed to be a restatement. Like I said, that's what they call it. It is a, not a stream, I was going to say streamlining, not even streamlining. It is taking the basic and expert rule sets, combining them into one rule set, and anywhere where there was contradiction or anything that was very ambiguous, they've tried to re-explain it, reorganize it, and represent it. Anything that was obviously an error in the old basic or expert rules, they have tried to correct that. But anything else, they haven't created new rules, they haven't changed the rules. It is the same game, essentially, as basic and expert Dungeons & Dragons, just, as I say, re-edited, re-clarified, and reorganized. So anyway, let's open this up and see what's in there. By the way, as you can tell, I did get a very cool Old School Essentials t-shirt. I think if you booked within the first 24 hours, you could get this. As part of the Kickstarter, you could also get, let me take a step back. As part of the Kickstarter, you could get the basic set. This is the original basic expert rules, but they also had the advanced rule set as available as well, and that is a restatement of the old Advanced Dungeons & Dragons first edition rules. I didn't get that. There are also several of the t-shirts you could get. Didn't get that simply because of funds. And also for some reason, I was really keen on getting the basic set, even more the advanced set. Not sure why, but this was what I was interested in. Anyway, let's open this up and see what's inside. Don't even have the shrink wrap up off of it. So let me take that off first of all. As I say, I'm a big fan of the basic and expert set. Not too long ago, I was on a podcast that my friend's a part of called D 50 Shades of D&D. If you haven't listened to that, highly recommend it. Subscribe to that. They're going through a variety of different Dungeons & Dragons inspired role-playing games and playing them and giving their impression of what they're like, how they do certain aspects of D&D type games. And they asked me to run a BX style game, and I did. And I'd forgotten how tough it was sometimes to cross-reference things, and you have to jump around in the two books to find all the information you need. So this is supposed to take care of that. So let's go ahead and take off the shrink wrap. Alright. This is great YouTube, by the way. Because, first of all, I do want to show you. Check out, speaking of Errol Otis artwork, check that out right there. That's some Errol Otis goodness right there. Which means I'm already going to like it. So let's see what's inside of here. Alright, so we have an Old School Essentials product catalog with some more lovely Errol Otis artwork on that. What do we have in set catalog? Okay. Classic Fantasy Rules Tome, campaign setting. Alright, so a wide variety of things for Old School Essentials in there. Magazine, cool. Very nice, and we start right off with characters. Now the box set has a variety of different books for different parts of the, for the game. We start off with characters. So, yep. Oh, look at that, right on the inside. Professor Dungeon Master would be happy because he always wants them to use the end papers for something. So yeah, we have a lot of tables we need for thieves and clerics. A tag matrix, excellent. A lot of saving throws, so very nice. It has that wafting new book smell. So yeah, so it's well laid out. I do like the fonts, the typeface, everything they've used for this, the way they've used the slight green to highlight a few things. Here we talk about the heritage of Old School Essentials. How this is, as they say, 100% faithful restatement of the rules, character options, spells, monsters, and treasures from the classic basic expert game. Which is exactly what it is, So how to make player characters, how to create a character. Alright, ability scores. How do they say to do ability scores? Let me take a step back. Is it 3d6 Where's it? 3d6 for each of your character's ability scores. 3d6, everybody. 3d6. Doesn't say in order, but it does say 3d6. So your modifiers, alignment, languages. Alignment is law neutral, and chaos. Lovely double-page spread there. Something I've noticed in the old school Essentials books is that they kind of skirt the line between old school art with Arrow Lotus and things like that, and some more modern takes on some of the art. So we have clerics. Clerics who, once again, do not get a spell at first level. Have to wait to second level to get your spells like that. See, that's a little more old school art, I think. Dwarves, elves, fighters, halflings, magic users, thief, and those are all your races. Now, of course, if you're not familiar with the basic and expert, back in those days, you didn't play an elf magic user, or an elf fighter, an elf rogue, an elf thief, anything like that. You were an elf. That was it. So this is, you may have heard of race as class, and that's what this is. So you don't play a dwarven magic user, you play a dwarf. As a matter of fact, dwarves are very non-magical in this version of Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, that's why we just have elf and halfling and magic users. So the clerics, magic users, thieves are all assumed to be human. So we have advancement, high-level play. Ooh, look at that. That is nice. That is very old school evocative for me. Wealth, some equipment, basic equipments, weapons and armor. That's rather nice, okay. So a more modern take. Some vehicles and mounts. Animals, water vessels, anything your character might be interested in or need. Another nice double-page artwork. Some really good artwork in here, and less double-pagers I like. Hired help. Here's a question. Did your group ever have retainers or hirelings? I don't remember any of my groups ever hiring retainers. We might have an NPC to help us round out a party, but I don't remember hiring people to carry extra weapons or gold or, somebody to go in the dungeon to hold the lanterns and things like that. I know a lot of people did. It seems like in the early days, Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson and those guys did that, but I don't remember our group ever doing that. Anyway, little aside. So mercenaries, specialists, like a spy or a ship's captain or a sage. How to build a stronghold. That was a big deal back in the old games. Building a stronghold when you got to a certain level. And in the OGL, and again on the back cover, all kinds of tables about things you might need in the adventure. Lovely. Now we go to magic. Ooh, and that is the same picture that's on my shirt. Very nice, very nice. So here we've got the spell lists on the front, in the front cover. Front end paper, magic. So introduction about magic. We're just going to have the spells listed, how to cast spells looks like. Spell books, magical research, and then we have the cleric spell list and the magic user spell list. Broken down. Ooh, another nice picture. Yeah, all the first, second, third level spells for all. Ooh, now that's nice. I like that. I want to say that's the cover of one of the other versions of the book. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty nice. I rather like that. Then the magic user spells. That's very like first edition looking to me for some reason. But yeah, nothing fancy. I like the fact that all these spells are exactly very small. A lot of people will complain about third, fourth, maybe not fourth, but third and fifth edition, the massive text blocks. These are quite succinct, telling you exactly what they all do. So there we have a book of all the spells, which is quite handy. Oh my heavens, look at that. Woo, talk about some first edition goodness. That is great. I like that a lot. That is cool. I like the way it sort of shows it's Cloudkill or, something like that going on. Yeah, that's awesome. And the OGL. So I kind of like the fact that these are two different books. So while, you get your magic user to get their stats, and then while the fighter's picking out their weapons from this, the magic user can be using this book to pick out spells. All right. Very nice. Then we have adventures. Adventures. So all the information you need for dungeon, wilderness, encumbrance, adventuring, again, in the end papers. I'm going to talk about how to create adventures, how to create a party for the adventures, party organization. Ooh, the Caller. If you're not familiar, if you've only started playing a few more years ago, there was something called the Caller. The group of players was supposed to come to a consensus, and the Caller told the dungeon master exactly what their group was going to do. And the dungeon master would only listen to the caller. So if the caller said, we're going to go traipse through the swamp, that's what you were going to do. We're going to go into the dungeon, that's what you were going to do. I tried that one time. It was an online game with a bunch of people that didn't know each other, and it devolved into chaos pretty quickly. It was an interesting concept. Yeah, we never used that. Anyway, another cool piece of artwork. So time, weight, and movement. Basically how to do the adventure. How to use ability checks. Damage, healing, and death. So hazards and challenges. Things you need to know while you're searching the dungeon. Lovely piece of artwork. Wilderness. Okay, encounters. The distance, the initiative. So a little bit of information about combat there. Evasion and pursuit. Ooh, that looks like Dungeon Crawl Classics right there. Alright, very nice. And here's where we have combat rules. Information, morale. Oh, there's your tables. There's your 2-hit tables. Your attack matrix. How to run adventures. And, oh, very nice. Very nice artwork again. How to design dungeons. How to design a wilderness. And awarding experience points. All right. And then some more very handy tables in the back of that book. Lovely. Let's move on to monsters. Ooh, yes. Yes, please. What kind of monsters do we have? So, there's that. Book of Monsters. Again, we have the Monster Attack Matrix here on the front cover. And information about game statistics. Monster saving throws. All right. Ooh, look. A gelatinous cube. And yeah, monster descriptions. All right, so here's the game statistics, what they all mean. And then we have our monster descriptions. And again, back to the old school aesthetic of extremely succinct monster stat blocks. Don't need a whole bunch of information for the old school monsters. All right, so let's see what we got here. Oh, black pudding. Very nice. I don't know why I'm surprised to see that. Okay, carcass crawler. Is that like a carrion crawler? Yeah, that's like a carrion crawler. Ooh, there you go. Finding a giant crab. We're gonna eat good tonight, boys. Okay, yeah. Now, I like this. This is really nice. This artwork is very good, very evocative. I always liked it in any monster manual when they have pictures of monsters you might not be familiar with. I mean, this is a cool picture. I know what an alligator or a crocodile looks like. I know what a crab looks like. I can imagine it giant. But something like, I don't know, carrion crawler, that would be nice. Something like a, oh, what am I trying to think of? Like a beholder, which they won't have in here because that is IP of Wizards of the Coast, but still, things that I wouldn't know exactly off the top of my head what it means. Anyway, dragons, classic different types of dragons. Nice picture there of a guy blocking a lightning bolt with a shield. Interesting, okay. Okay, dragon turtles, Ifrit, elementals, gelatinous cube. Now here's the thing, I guess gelatinous cube is not a WotC IP. Apparently not. They've got it in here. Okay, we've got all the different kinds of giants. We have golems. Here's the thing. We have Gorgon, but a Gorgon here is like the old Dungeons & Dragons in that it is a metallic bull, which is odd because Gorgon, mythologically, is what Medusa was. Interesting. Okay. Lovely. That's the cover of Carcass Crawler. Show that here in a minute. Okay, so yeah, very succinct. Ooh, look at the size of that leech. Holy guacamole. Yeah, so very, very succinct stat blocks for the monsters. Let me flip this over here. Okay, Manticore. Ooh, that's creepy. With the mummies all coming out of the sarcophagi. Sarcophaguses. Nice owlbear, too. I like that very old school looking owlbear. Alright, yeah, lots of great monsters in here. And nice evocative artwork. Another nice double spread. What is that? That looks like a Skeksis. Oh, I think it's supposed to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not what I thought first seeing that. A Warp Beast. Now, perhaps we're talking about IP things that we can't actually name what they would normally be called in other games. Alright, some encounter tables for wilderness, forests, another full-page piece of art. NPC account. Oh, you can make an adventuring party. Roll it up randomly. So when your group makes another adventuring party. Information, more about strongholds. There we are. And here we have, oh look, we have a list of all the monsters by hit dice. Very handy when you're creating an adventure. Let's move on to last but not least. Why do we do what we do? Treasure. To get the treasure. All right. So, yep, inside we do have random magic item types. So got that. I really like the fact that all these tables are easily referenced in the beginning and the back of all these books. It's very, very handy. Especially if you have the PDF, you could print these out and you've already got your GM screen if you wish to use that, or at least references. So here we go. Oh, there we go. Ooh, look. Do you remember, you may not remember, if you remember the old expert level, or maybe the basic rules, there was a picture of somebody turning into a gaseous form and leaving the armor. So a little callback right there. That's pretty cool. All right, so talking about treasures, which I think is monetary, magic items, and sentient swords. So let's go through here. So all the different types of treasure types, and the variety of things that you may be able to find. Gold and jewelry, lovely double spread again, magic items, miscellaneous items, a lot of the kind of things you might expect to find in Dungeons & Dragons. Rope of climbing, medallion of ESP, horn of blasting, potions, rings, ring of controlling humans, handy to have, ring of Jinn summoning, awful nice, X-ray vision, that's interesting. Okay, rods, staves, and wands. All right, do we have this? Oh, yes, we have the Staff of Wizardry. And you can break it in two. Retributive strike. Kaboom! Always wanted to do that in a game. Never did. I should hire a bunch of hirelings in my next game and then go break a bunch of Staffs of Wizardry. All right, scrolls and maps. Very handy. Treasure. Oh, you can roll up treasure maps. So sort of tell you where the map goes and what you're going to find, what the treasure is going to be when you get there. That's cool. All right. Swords, other weapons, and how to create sentient swords. Extraordinary powers. All right. And again, more treasure tables. So there we have it. All the small individual books of the Old School Essentials basic fantasy set. Yeah, I really like this a lot. I like the presentation. I like the box set. I'm a big fan of the box set, and just like just like most everything about this. As part of the Kickstarter, I also got a physical copy of Carcass Crawler magazine, the official Old School Essentials magazine, issue 2 and issue 3. These add a couple of different kind of elves, like phase elves and wood elves, and a few pieces of equipment. This one does have, I think, Tiefling and Dragonborn in this one, and they maintain the aesthetic of class as race for Tieflings and Dragonborn. Of course, they have it split up also if you're playing the advanced version. I have to say, I was actually enjoying flipping through a real physical magazine. Been a while since I've done that. Anyway, yeah, really excited to get this. I really, really want to get a game of this going. I've mentioned this before, but my main sources of employment right now is being a professional dungeon master. I am running D&D games for younger kids, and they all want to play 5e, of course. And I'm going to see if I can get maybe a few of them interested in giving Old School Essentials a try. If that happens, I will let you know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. There will be another solo traveler adventure coming up in the very near future. Until then, I will see you next time.